Nonsense. Hello, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to day 11 of our 30 days of code challenge. And today we are going to be designing a weight converter that will help us to convert between kilogram to pounds and from pounds to kilogram. So, I'll be sharing my screen right about now. So, I'll be opening another folder. That will be our folder for the day. So, let's go back to the code. Wait. So this is day 11. That's the day 11. Very good, day 11. So let's create the first one should be index.html style.css and then index.j. So, okay. So now we have created our HTML file, our CSS file, and our JavaScript file. So the HTML file will be used as a framework for the weight converter. The CSS file we are going to use this to design the style converter, while we are going to add functionality to the style converter using the index.jx. So for the HTML, let me go live so you can view what we are doing. Okay, so for now our web page looks empty. Good. So it's cool. So since we are designing a weight converter, let me change the title to converter. So the title should be converter. Let me link my CSS to my HTML file. That's the style CSS. Then let me link the JavaScript. That's the very good. So we have just successfully linked the CSS and the JavaScript to the HTML. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move in. So the first thing that we want our weight converter to have is the heading. The heading. So that will be sorry, everything should be in a div. Everything should be in a div. Good. So the first thing we want to see is the heading. Let's make that h2 so it's not too big. And so what should our heading be? Our heading should be kilogram. Then let me look for an emoji that is befitting. So you have kilogram. Mm, okay, this should be a very good one. Yeah. Okay, good. So from kilogram to pounds, that'll be LBS. Good. Okay. So that's good for our subheading. So you can see that's right there. kilograms to LBS. So the next thing we want our weight converter to, okay, let me ask converter to it. Kilograms to LBS con. So the next thing is the screen or the inputs where we can enter the amount of weight that we want to be converted. So that will be, sorry. So that will be the input. Very good. So this is where we are going to enter our what? Our weight or our pounds or our kilograms, so it can be converted to the order. So first of all, we want to declare that it should only accept the type of. So after declaring it as a type of number, that's the reason why we have this arrow here. So with these arrows, we can either increase or decrease the value of the number in this box. So by clicking on the upper arrow, clicking on the arrow below, I can decrease the value. So that's the function of this box. By declaring to be type number, we can do that. So let me give it an ID. Let me give it an ID of input. Input. Good. And let me add a placeholder to it. So this placeholder is going to be like our label. So the placeholder should be enter weight. Good. So this is where we enter our weight value. Okay, that's right about that. That's good. So after the screen where we add our weight, the next thing I want to do now is that I want to add a select element to it. So it is with this select element that we're going to choose from our options. That do I want to convert from kilogram to pounds, or do I want to convert from pounds to kilogram? So that will be select. Good. Now this select, let's give it an ID. That will be an ID of type. This is helping us to detect which of the types do we want. So under the select, we are going to have options. That will be option. And the first option should be from kilogram. Let me go back to my emoji so I can pick something nice. So the first option should be from kilogram to, let me close this. From kilogram to LBS. Nice. So that should have a value. That should have a value of kilogram to LBS. Good. So you see, so with the select button, we can now choose from this option. Let me add the second one. So on the second option, second option is going to be from LBS. Let me use the emoji again. I'll be from LBS to kilogram. From LBS to kilogram. Then the value should be equal to from LBS to LBS. Oh, from LBS to kilogram. Okay, so now if you click on the select entity here, you can select, do you want from kilograms to pounds or from pounds to kilograms? So we can do the selection over here. And the next thing I want to add after that is the convert button. So for that, I'm going to need a button element. Button. So this button, I want it to have convert. Convert. Good. So that's for the convert button. So now we are done with, okay. One more thing. Now with this, I'm going to enter the amount of weight I want to convert here. I'm going to choose, do I want to convert from kilogram to pounds or from pounds to kilogram? Then I'm going to click on this button to help me to convert the value to the preferred value. Maybe I want it from kilogram to pounds or from pounds to kilogram. Now, where do I display my final answer? For example, if I'm converting from kilograms to pounds, where do I display these pounds? So to do that, let's introduce another paragraph element, I mean. So let's give this paragraph element an ID of results. An ID of results. So what do we have? We have a div. Very good. Let's give this div our converter. Let's give it a class of converter. Let's give it a class of converter. Very good. Then we have the h1, which is the heading. Um, we have the inputs, which have an ID of inputs. We have the select, which have an ID of type. Then we have the button. Very good. Then we have the ID. So let's tie this up a little bit. Let's add some decorations to our, because now if I maximize my screen, this is what we just have. We just have this. This is looking far too basic. Let's make it a little bit stylish. So I'll go to my style.css and I'm going to start styling from the body. And we start styling from the body. So from the body, the first thing I'll do, I want to change the display. Let's change the display to flex. Very good. So let's change justify content to the center. So with justify content to the center, we bring everything to the right, to the what? To the center. That's nice. So from there, let's move on to align items to the center. Let's align the items to the center. Now let's give it a height or full screen. So the full screen is going to be 100 what? 100 VH. 100 VH. So now we have our weight calculator at the middle. Another thing I want to add to this is I want to add the margin of 100 pixels. I want to give it a margin of 100 what? 100 pixels. So with that, this is what it looks like. Good, but we are not done yet. So from here, let me go to my div have a class of converter, so I'm just going to select that. So for the converter, that will be dot converter. Yeah, converter. That's converter. Is also going to have a display of flex. Good. It's also going to have justify content to the center. Then it's going to have align items to the center as well. Let me maximize this for now. Let's see. So this is what we have for now. Now see, once I now add this function to it, once I say display flex direction should be column. Very good. Now look at what we have now. So this is what we have right about now. Flex direction. Okay, that's good for that. Now for the input, I'm just going to say for the input, I want to give the input a padding of 0.5 REM. That's nice. Now let me give it a margin of 1 REM. Good. So I'll do same thing for the button. For the button should also have a padding of 0.5 REM. Then let's give it a margin of 1 REM. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let me go back to my converter. So from this converter, let me add some background. Let me add some background. So let's make it linear gradients. And for this linear gradients, for the coloration, let me make it orange. Let me make it yellow. And let me make it pink. Good. Good. This looks good to me. So from here, let me add some border radius to it. Border radius, let's make that 20 pixels. Border radius 20 pixels. So let's add some padding to it. Padding of 20 pixels also. That should be okay. 20 pixels. Good. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to add some text align so that all the text can be in the middle. Because if you look at this now, we're having the text maybe towards the left hand side. No, I want everything to be at the middle. That should be text align center. So with this text align center, everything is now at the middle. Let me maximize my screen so you can see it. Very good. So this is what we have for our this is what we have for the weight converter. Good. Good. So this looks good. Let's move on to our functionality now. Let's add, because right about now, if I add the specific weight to it, let me say I add 50. So now if I want to convert from 50 kilograms to pounds and I click on convert, nothing is working because we have not yet added the functionality to it. So let's add some functionality using our JavaScript. So the first thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to declare a function. That will be function convert. Function convert. So now let me declare some variables. That will be const. So the first variable we have is the input, what we input into this, and the ID of that input is what is input. So I'll just go back to my and say const input is equal to documents dot get elements document dot get elements by ID, and the ID is what? The ID is input dot value. But because we want to round up this number, it's going to be pass float. Very good. So this is what we are going to have. So the next I want to declare that becomes value. So what should the value be? The value is going to be document dot get element by ID, and that's going to be the what? The type. And remember that in our HTML, the type refers to the any of the option that was selected. So maybe from kilograms to pounds, or from pounds to what? To kilogram. That's the type we are referring to here. Let's go back to our so from here, I'm coming. Here we have our results, although we do not add any values to it yet, but we say that the ID is results. So what should this result be? Initially, let's make this result 0. That will be result equals to 0. Result equals to 0. Thank you so much, Dabson. Result equals to 0. So from here, let's say that if, let's open our bracket. Now, if the type is explicitly equal to kilogram to LBS, if the type is explicitly equal to kilogram to LBS, then the result should be equal to this value that we have here multiplied by 2.20462. So what this means is that whenever you want to convert from kilogram to pounds, that should be the value multiplied by 2.20462. But if you want to convert from pounds to kilogram, that will be else result equals val divided by 2.20462. Very good. So from here, we are going to display our results. So that is going to be document dot get element by ID of results dot text content we should have a dot value over here. The text content should be equal. Let's add some backticks to that. That will be results results dot to fixed. So with this, we are bringing everything to at least 2 decimal places. Let me maximize this. Very good. So this is what we have for the what? For the JavaScript file. Okay. So now, if you run this, it won't run because you have not called this function yet. For example, assuming I have something like 7 here, and I click on convert, nothing is happening yet. But now let's call this function by anytime you click on the convert button. So you are going to have on click. You're going to have on click should be equals to. You should call on the convert function. Convert function. Very good. So now let's have it. If you have 5 kilograms, I want to convert to pounds. Converting it. We have an error over there. Let me go back to my JavaScript. Okay, okay. Um, okay. Okay, there was an error here. This should be our val, while this should be type. Okay, let me minimize this a little bit. And that's because this is referring to the value that we input into the text box. Okay, so with this now, let's see, we have 5. Very good, very good. So it is now working perfectly. And even when you have some, let's say 10 kilograms to pounds, you have to convert it, we have the answer. But now let me increase the, I want to increase the size of my of the selector so it looks bigger. And also I want to increase the size of the final answer. So that goes to style the CSS. So here I'm going to have so for the P, I want to make it bigger. So that will be font size. Let's make it one rem. Let's see what that looks like. Let me make it two. Let me make it two rem. Very good. Okay, this is good. So now for the select, that will be just padding. That padding should be okay. Padding of 0.5 again. Okay, okay. So that's what we have now. So let me maximize this so you can see my full screen. So now whenever we have, let's say, 12 kilograms to pounds, if I click on convert, I'm going to have 5.44 pounds. So if I have, let's say, 20, and I want to change from pounds to kilogram, so 20 pounds to kilogram, if I click on convert, I have 9.07. Let me add some little bit of styling to the boxes. So for the select, let's have a border. Let's have a border radius of 5 px. Okay. Let's have that for our input also. Let's have it for our button also. Okay. So everything looks good now. And it is working. So if I have 25 pounds to kilogram should be 11.34 pounds. And if I'm to have 52 kilograms to pounds should be 23.59. So that is our weight converter from kilogram to pounds and for pounds to kilogram. And all we have to do is just click on the convert button and everything is going to work. It's going to convert right about now. So thank you so much for joining us on today's session. We look forward to having you in our subsequent sessions as we dive right into more JavaScript, CSS, and HTML file. Thank you.